If I had to choose one type of cake to eat for the rest of my life, it would absolutely be carrot cake. And today I'm going to show you how to make these carrot cake scones that have all the flavor of my favorite cake wrapped in a delicious scone form. They're super easy to make, light and delicious, and let me show you how to make them in just a sec. So I'm going to start by grating up some carrot, and I'm going to need 1 1/3 cups for this recipe. I like to use a box grater to do this, but you could use a microplane if you don't have one in the house. After doing that, I'm going to cube up some cold unsalted butter. And for this recipe, you want the butter to be as cold as possible, so keep it directly in the fridge until you need it. And I usually cube it up using a bench scraper like this, but you could use a knife as well. Then let's grab a bowl and mix together the dry ingredients. I'm going to whisk together some flour, brown sugar, baking powder, salt, and a variety of spices until well combined. Then I'm going to add in that carrot that we grated, give that a quick stir before dropping in the butter that we cubed. So when making scones, I highly recommend using a pastry cutter like this to cut in the butter, because this helps break it up into small chunks that are going to melt beautifully in the oven and create gorgeous layers. And I find a pastry cutter does this the best. And you want to do it until the butter is about lentil sized, as you can kind of see here. Once that's done, move it aside and whisk together an egg, some heavy cream, and vanilla extract in a separate bowl until well combined. So once that's all incorporated, you're going to add the liquid ingredients directly into the dry ingredients. And maybe use a bigger bowl because I was struggling a little bit here. But you're basically just going to kind of stir together all this stuff until well combined. And don't be afraid to get in there with your hands, and it's going to be a bit sticky, but that's okay. So after it's all incorporated, you're going to want to transfer it to a baking sheet with some parchment paper. And if you find that the dough is a bit sticky here still, you can sprinkle some flour on top and bottom. And then what you're going to want to do is pat it directly into a circle. You want it to be about 1 inch or 3/4 of an inch thick. And then I usually use my bench scraper to cut it into 8 triangles. Try and make these as even as possible, but it doesn't have to be perfect. And then we're going to actually freeze these uncooked scones for 30 minutes before baking. After that 30 minutes, I'm going to brush the tops with heavy cream. And you can apply quite a bit of cream here. This helps create a beautiful brown color in the oven. And then after that, I like to sprinkle some turbinado sugar on top because this creates a beautiful crunch on the scones, which you'll be able to see once they finish baking. Also, don't be afraid to use lots of sugar here, as I do. And then you're going to want to bake these scones in an oven at 400 degrees for about 25 to 28 minutes, but keep an eye on them. So while they're baking, I whisk together my glaze, which basically is just some cream cheese, and then it also has some powdered sugar, vanilla extract, and milk. So whisk all that together and then set it aside. I like to keep it in the fridge when the scones are cooking, just so it stays firm. After the scones have finished, then you're going to basically just drizzle that glaze we made on top. And you could spread this directly on, or you could drizzle like this. It's really up to you. But honestly, the more glaze, the better. And then this is totally optional, but I also like to sprinkle a little bit more of that grated carrot on top just to complete the look. And there you have it. These are some delicious carrot cake scones. They're super easy to make, and they make a delicious breakfast or dessert. And I think they're just absolutely perfect. So I hope you enjoy. Make sure to hit subscribe and stay tuned for more recipes soon.